Welcome, Titano Finance community. Now, you may be asking, why is the camera not on? I'm just going to start this off with I am having some crazy camera issues. I could not figure it out. So we're just going to get it. We're just going to get rocking and rolling. It's all good. So welcome. Let me know where in the chat you guys are watching from, because we are right now. Look at this. Boom. Titan Talk episode number 4. And then we're just going to get right into it. I just want to see some people in the chat. We got Pickleless Cage. Shout out to Pickleless Cage. He said some mega ultra giga Chad buys coming in. We'll see that. We love to see it, right? Welcome. We got when Austin's camera fix. Hey, it's all good. We got Pedro from Brazil. What's up, Pedro? We got me. Let's see. I missed the wrong one there. We got Swabby from Augusta, Georgia. Nice. We got another Georgia right above Swabby. You guys are probably friends or twins or something. We got Devin says, let's freaking go. What's up? I need everybody to share this because we're going to drop some really cool news today. We're gonna drop a lot of cool news on a lot of win questions that are going to be actual set in stone. Oh gosh, set in stone answers. And I would really like a lot of people to really get initial value from this. Now, obviously, there's going to be a replay, and you can watch the replay and stuff like that. But I would really like a lot of the Titano community to hear what we're going to talk about today. So let's see. We got Wooz. It said win camera. Yeah, we're not going to get a camera this week, but it's all good. Yes. Hey, y'all listen to our another moderator, Tormax the Titan. They said smash the like button. Yes, it doesn't just help my ego sitting here on stage. It also helps the algorithm on YouTube. So that way we can get this pushed out to as many people as possible. We got another awesome Titano community member, Evan C. What's up? It's also the moderator for my Discord. Welcome. And then we're going to roll right into it. So the first thing that we like to do before I have David come on stage is we're going to talk about the quick stats. So we're going to get right into the Titano quick stats. So with this week, we have currently 79,741 Titano holders with over 250,000 transactions. Now, obviously, again, these transactions are skewed because we migrated from Titano 1 to Titano V2. And then now let's currently look at the Treasury. The Treasury has a total of $7 million with an RFV of $2.5 million. And I was actually just recently seeing from Wayne, which is another one of our amazing moderators, that the liquidity is back. The liquidity is back pretty good. I mean, we're pretty good within the crazy market conditions that we are right now with the current price of 0.007 cents. So let's get right into it, right? So I'm going to bring David on the stage right now. Welcome, David.
Hey, Austin. How you doing, man?
I am doing wonderful. It is a Saturday, and I'm doing what I like to do, so it's pretty great.
Good to be here as always, man. Great to be able to spend some time with you and to talk to the Titans. This is actually my second AMA today. I'm rolling, man.
Second AMA. Oh yeah, because you did for me it was last night, but you haven't even went to bed yet.
Yeah, man. This is actually was more like I call it like a lounge talk because no one's up on stage. It's kind of let's just get in a room and let's just have a conversation. I like to do those, especially when there's news or when there are a lot of questions. Give people a chance. It's always interesting because not a lot of people will typically ask questions, but I'm sure the people that ask the questions represent a large number of people that are in the group. So that's fine. And then the other thing is some people just want to hear me talk about, what I'm thinking and all that sort of stuff. So it's always great, man. It's always great to do it. So yeah, my second chance to interact with the Titans directly today, vocally.
Absolutely. And I think that's so, I tell people this all the time. Like, we are emotional creatures, and sometimes, with text and in the DeFi world, right? Like, we're just craving that human interaction, whether we feel it or not, right? Just psychologically, we see text all the time. We read white papers, like we see all this visual stuff, but we don't actually see people, and it's kind of ironic because my camera's off today, but it's all good. But we at least hearing us, right, listening to us, speaking to
Right.
us, we're still here. We're not behind the curtain or anything like that as far as not producing information. So all that stuff, right, it just really helps. And Flash D says, was it recorded? Yes, it was. I think Summit
Yes.
has that recording, and he's going to post it in the Discord.
Correct. That's correct.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
believe me, I've
let's
learned. I've learned
yeah.
because people always go, "Did you record it?" I was like, "We had two bots in there recording. We have our primary bot and the
I
backup bot,
seen
so both
that. Yeah,
recorded." Yeah, man. Yep.
bro, they
Summit's
were on
not
top
playing.
of it. All right, well, let's get right into it. We got right here the Titan news. So the one thing that I wanted to talk about before we get into, the biggest thing, right? Because if you look at the title, we got Titano Finance, the market. So we're going to be talking about the market as a whole and how it relates to
Mm.
Titano, why the price is the way it is, what's going on, and then also the future partnerships. But I want to get into the meat and potatoes of this. So, David, let's talk a little bit about the partnerships that you kind of wanted to talk about and what is to come within the next few days, with if not like super super soon.
Okay, so as has been mentioned constantly, Titano is moving or has moved from its initial approach to the marketplace, right? And in that approach, typically what happens, or always what happens with crypto projects, is there is a phase that's called a, for lack of a better phrase, the token distribution phase. And in this phase, you do things to get the tokens into the hands of holders, and the holders get engaged with the project. There are lots of ways that people do that. They do it sometimes through staking. They do it sometimes through airdrops. They do it, all sorts of ways, selling NFTs. And Titano has done it with a high rebasing token. So that was the first stage of Titano. And during that stage, the revenue was generated by buy and sell fees. Titano has moved on to a second stage now, which is its growth and sustainability stage, right? And in that stage, there's a focus on different elements of the project. A major focus is on deflationary use cases and tools. Second thing is on revenue generation that takes the weight off of the buy and sell fees, right? And there's a reason for that. I'll talk about in a second. The third thing is, continually bringing in new holders, right? Projects grow when they get new holders who bring in more revenue. That's how crypto works. That's how the stock market works. And the fourth thing is finding ways to get Titans to hold their tokens longer. And so all four of those use cases are being implemented. And of course, the ideal situation, Austin, is if we have use cases that fit all four. So an example of that is the DEX, right? The DEX is a use case that fits all four. It's got an ability to, cause deflation, generate revenue, bring in new holders, and also get Titans to hold their tokens longer. And you'll see that as features are added to the DEX that allow for staking and farming and other things. So that's what's going on. So in this stage, speaking about partnerships, part of what our goal is to offer a wide range, a multitude of use cases. And in order to do that, we got two choices, right? We can build them internally, or we can find them outside of Titano. And so there's a combination of those things happening, right? Titano Play and the lottery are built in house. So is the DEX. And at the same time, we are partnering in order to gain use cases. Now, we'll gain a lot of other important things with partners. Like, as example, if we look at the BetSwirl partnership, right? That's a partnership that's going to provide use cases that are valuable to Titano, but we don't have to build them in house, right? Building in house means hiring developers. It means going through that process, right? This is software. Software is an inexact science. So any opportunities that we have that we can get use cases that are valuable, that fit within our criteria, but are not done or created in house, it's a bonus. So the BetSwirl partnership is great, right? They're providing with us use cases, and an increasing amount of use cases as time goes on that are going to be able to have us do meet the needs of the use cases that we're looking for. So deflation and revenue generation. The initial BetSwirl products that we'll be using, 75% of the revenue will be burned, and 25% will go into the treasury and or RFV. So it's a great idea. So partnerships that we're looking at generally fit in those criteria. And BetSwirl is a great example. People have asked me, Austin, is Titano turning into a gambling site? You got Titano Play, you got the lottery, you got BetSwirl now. Where are we going here? Are we turning into Las Vegas or Macau? The answer is no. The answer is that if you look at the reality of it is that if you look at use cases across crypto, um, use cases that include games of chance are very popular. And so Titano needs to have significant revenue created so that the burning can happen at good amounts and so that that revenue can be generated. So yeah, there's a focus on those types of use cases that have a history of doing that. And that's why there is a focus on games of chance. However, you'll see with our next partnership that it's much broader than that. And the next partnership will have nothing to do with games of chance. It's more about positioning Titano so that there's access to developers, there's access to use cases, there's access to co-marketing opportunities. And as importantly, I spoke about this earlier, it's partially designed to help Titano to reestablish and maintain its status in this marketplace. Right? Titano created an area of DeFi that has been copied more than any other DeFi project I'm aware of. There's more than 130 Titano forks created. And so it is a cornerstone project of DeFi. And right along with that, there comes other perks, but also other responsibilities. And so this next partnership is designed to help position Titano so that it can take advantage of what it's created and also assume its proper place in DeFi. So how's that? And hopefully I answered your question.
Absolutely. And the thing that I want to talk about with BetSwirl, right? And we kind of was talking a little bit about this before Titan Talk. And can you tell everybody a little bit about Titan, or not Titan Talk? Can you tell everybody a little bit about BetSwirl in regards to what is something else that we're going to be doing right when BetSwirl launches with, the utility with Titano?
Okay, got it. So we're all clear, I think, about the BetSwirl partnership, and the key is for us to focus on is it is something that starts one place and then develops into something fantastic as we go along. And as importantly, it allows Titano to not have to do in-house development. We can focus resources on other things that are also critical. This is critical, but with limited resources, and not just resources that are here, but having to build out those resources. So that's the foundation of BetSwirl. Right along with BetSwirl, one of the big issues that we've been looking at is buybacks and burns. Now, we did a buyback and burn, and we're doing it weekly with Titano Play, and everyone saw that. I believe the last one, Austin, was like $111,000. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was awesome. That was
Yep.
honestly a really, like, it surprised me. I did not think it was going to be that much money that
Right.
was going to be burned.
Fantastic. And but that's not necessarily the buybacks and burns that we've been talking about. I've been getting those questions. Is that what we were talking about? No, that's not what we were talking about. We were talking about doing buybacks and burns from the revenue that's generated from other projects. So the BetSwirl project or partnership will start next week, and the buybacks and burns will also start next week. So that's the BetSwirl news. It will start, and the buybacks and burns will start. In addition to that, it's scheduled where the lottery will start next week as well. So that'll
Nice.
give
See,
us
look at that.
additional revenue. Yeah, additional revenue, and a portion of the lottery revenue will also be burned. So we should have significant, when you think of the BetSwirl project, when you think of Titano Play and the lottery, we should have a significant amount of burning going on, and there will be buybacks as well, all happening next week.
Absolutely. And see, look at that, guys. I mean, I'm telling you right now, we didn't wait until the end. We wanted to give you this up front. So next week, you heard it. This is all going to be taking place. So it's, yeah, Evan C said, let me highlight the comment. Evan C said, oh yes, so many things starting next week. Let's freaking go. So yeah, if you like
Yes.
that, if you think that, make sure you drop this a like so everybody can hear. We got Pickles Cage losing his mind. Oh, that's great. But you guys got to be, especially in this type of market. I mean, I'm not a developer. I'm not a DeFi expert. I'm not a creator of projects, tokens, anything of the sort. So I can't empathize with exactly what everything is going on, but I can, look at it and sympathize in the aspect of, I mean, this market is literally not, and this is going to be, kind of switch us into the whole market stuff that I want to talk about.
Mm,
But this market, man, I mean, it hats off to any developer that wants to
mm,
create a project, sustain a project in this market, because it's not easy. And one thing that a lot of people, because one thing that I was seeing in the chats was, yes, we're always talking about next this, next that, but you got to understand, the team behind Titano, and they're trying to be as careful as possible and strategic as possible, right? Because when it comes to these buybacks and these burns, it's kind of the same. It isn't exactly the same, but it's kind of the same of, if you guys, everybody listening right now, if you were to buy right now, right, and the price dips even more, would you have rather have bought then, or would you have rather have bought now? And it's kind of the same thing with buybacks and burns. They're trying to strategically find a decent level of support. They're trying to
mm,
find some stabilization, so that way the buybacks and burns are best implemented, right? They're not
right,
trying to just go willy nilly and go crazy. And then, all that was for nothing, just to appease short term gratification for investors. So
right.
that's kind of something that you have to really, yes. And this is a great comment that I'm actually going to first talk about. So shout out to Dippin John. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. They said, Austin, bro, please mention the Bitcoin dominance chart. That's why the price is going down. There is no need to panic sell as much. Yes, I would. I'm going to be talking about the Bitcoin dominance right now. So, for those of you that don't know what Bitcoin dominance is, okay, Bitcoin dominance is the ratio between the market cap of Bitcoin and the rest of the cryptocurrency markets, right? So, you got to think, when we talk about all the time of what Bitcoin is and how the importance of the Bitcoin price in conjunction with everything else that's going on, this is what we're talking about, is Bitcoin dominance. What is the percentage of Bitcoin, and the relation of, is it driving the price up to everything else within crypto, or is it driving it down? And
Mm,
we look, and over the history of cryptocurrency, the higher the Bitcoin dominance is, the worse it is for altcoins.
mm,
Okay, so Titano included, right? As we know, and as we see that this project is really good, that we like this project, we love it, it still is not immune to Bitcoin, right? And then Bitcoin is still not immune to the stock market, and the stock
mm,
market is not immune to noise, like news and politics and the economy. Like, everything kind of is a snowball. And I'm gonna tell you right now, whenever a project becomes detached and decoupled to the price of Bitcoin, that's going to be crazy. But we just
mm.
haven't got there yet. So this is the importance and the context behind Bitcoin dominance. And I'm going to share my screen right now with you all, and I'm going to show you exactly what we're talking about when it comes to Bitcoin dominance. So we're going to share this little chart here. All right. So, can you see the screen, David?
I cannot, but I'm not on YouTube. So would I be able to see it on YouTube?
Let's see. I just want to make sure that I'm sharing my tab. Oh, here we go. I gotta activate it. There we go.
Ah,
Okay, now y'all can see it. Okay, so
okay,
we're
let's
looking
see.
at Bitcoin dominance here, right? And you see that Bitcoin dominance has went from, as of the beginning of May, skyrocketed all the way to 46%. Currently, it's at 46%, and this is to show that
Ah,
ratio that we're
okay.
talking about, right? Is this is to show that we're right now at 46%. That at 46% of the ratio of the market cap to the entire crypto market is tied into Bitcoin. So when
Mm,
Bitcoin goes down, everything goes down way harder. But
mm,
as Bitcoin follows, because if you look here, you can see the trend, right? Was people making money in September of last year? Yes. There was a ginormous bull run last year, right? And we can see that Bitcoin dominance was all the way down to 40% at one point. And then we can see that as the price of everything within the alt market, within the altcoin side of crypto, as everything has been bleeding, Bitcoin dominance has been rising, and this is why. So you really have to zoom out, and this is what we mean by zoom out. I try not to I tell people all the time, do not take what I say by when in doubt, zoom out, as in just a singular price chart of a singular token. You got to zoom out in perspective. You got to look at Bitcoin. You got to learn these things. You got to zoom out in regards to what's going on in the world. Like you got to learn about these little tips and tricks on explaining what is currently, causing what you're seeing with, if you're
Mm.
invested in Titano. This is one of the main reasons. Now, obviously, we can talk about Binance and BNB and all that specifically because we're paired to BNB, but Bitcoin is still the leader in anything that happens within the crypto market. So as you see here, we got 46.3%. Would you like to touch on anything with that, David?
No, I think that's absolutely true. And, I've said we had a honeymoon period where the project, because of the euphoria around it, didn't necessarily follow what was happening directly in the market, right? Titano has never had the benefit of an uptrending market. We haven't really even had the benefit of a sideways market for an extended period of time. We've been in the down market since we launched in November. And eventually I've said this throughout all the conversations that I've had, eventually it will catch up with us because every project needs the market to work with them. Every single project in crypto needs the market going in a positive direction or a stable direction in order to help them to sustain or increase their price. So that's just the thing. So yeah, you're right. As the Bitcoin dominance increases, history shows that it's not good for altcoins, and we're seeing that now. And mainly, Austin, the reason it happens is because it means that people are taking their money out of altcoins and they're putting it in Bitcoin. Right? That's what they're doing. They're looking for the trusted token, and the most trusted token is Bitcoin. So that's why it ends up being a negative a factor for altcoins, Titano included.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I'm doing the same thing, right? Like it's just a normal bear market type of strategy that crypto investors do, where they plug their money more into blue chip stuff that's been around for years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that's what I'm personally doing too. So I'm glad you said that, David. I didn't even bring that point up, but yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
And the only other thing that I want to talk about when it comes to in relation to the market, and that is what is coming up in America in June 1st, is
Mm.
quantitative tightening. So we've probably heard of quantitative easing. Easing. We've probably heard of quantitative easing. Oh my gosh, I can't talk today. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Easing.
Oh my gosh, easing,
Quantitative
easing.
easing. Right.
Yes, we've probably heard of that, right? Because that's been the market loves when that happens, right? But what the market does not like in the history is quantitative tightening. Now, I'm going to give you a simple definition of what quantitative tightening is, but we're not going to turn this into a financial literacy class or anything like that. But it simply means the central bank reduces the pace of reinvestments of proceeds from maturing government bonds, and it's the
Mm.
exact opposite of course, what we were talking about, quantitative easing with the monetary policy. So we're not going to talk about you. I implore you all to just
Yeah,
Google what is quantitative tightening.
Austin, let me just say quantitative easing, essentially, the government is pumping money into the economy at
Yeah,
low rates. Quantitative tightening, they're taking the money out of the economy. So you're
yeah,
right, the markets hate it, right? A lot of what has happened, including to a large degree what's happened with the crypto market, is that there's been all of this free money everywhere. So people could invest in, and a lot of the small companies, if you look at the NASDAQ, which is tech heavy, a lot of those companies have gone through the roof because they're able to get no interest loans or next to no interest loans.
yes,
So
yes,
once that stops, and it's stopping now, because the problem with it is you put too much money and you create a major inflation issue. And by the way, this is not just the United States, this is all around the world, right? When one country like the US does it, then everyone else has to do it in order to try to keep up. So
yeah.
now it's created inflation all around the world. So now they're saying we got to put the brakes on this thing and we're taking money out of the economy. And so, yeah, markets don't like that. All markets don't like that.
Yes, not just crypto. Stock market
Right.
hates it. Everything hates it. The real estate market. Now, real estate moves a little slower
Right.
than stock and crypto, but Man, so this is just the only reason we're David and I are talking about this is because expectation management is so important when it comes to
Mm,
these bear market scenarios, right? If you invest into a project thinking you're getting into a discount and it's going to go up in a week, that could probably make you sad when it doesn't go up in a week. So this is why you need to really educate yourself on zooming out and finding the perspective around these, what's going on really in the world instead of what is happening with Titano, right? Like as like again, as much as we love Titano and how great this project is, it still is not immune to everything going on and
right.
within the world, and that's why you have to truly understand when you ask why is the price the way it is. You have to kind of educate yourself on what is affecting the other things that are not just affecting
Mm,
this price. So you got to really
right.
go down the rabbit hole of everything. So
I,
if
s-
you
I s-
don't want to,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry, go
Please,
ahead.
Austin.
No, go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, I said earlier that, I had to go through over the last couple of days and look at my portfolio and make some hard decisions. And it was based around which projects am I invested in? Do I really believe in? Right. Because so many of them are down 85% or more. And yeah, I had to take a look at it. And some of these projects, I would have never guessed in a gazillion years that they would be at the levels that they are right now, but they are. And it doesn't mean that they're not great projects. It just means that this is the market that we're in right now. So, yeah, I think this is important to note because we all need to take a sober look at what we're doing. If we're over invested, like I felt I was, and I ended up selling some things. So it's important, as you're saying, Austin, to understand the market, the macro view, the micro view, the project view, all of those different approaches and looks at things so you get a clear understanding of what's happening and you make good decisions based on it. I just wanted to add that.
Absolutely. So with all this serious talk, this is why I strategically put this in the middle of the Titan talk. We're going to get into, if it's going to load here,
Oh,
patience. Patience, my friend. There we go. Meme of the week. Oh my gosh, I was clicking the wrong one. I had the logo button here. So we're gonna get into meme of the week, and I'm actually going to talk about two memes that I've seen this week on the Discord because they were equally as funny, and I cannot decide. So the winner, okay, the winner, and sooner or later we're probably gonna scale this to where we can actually give prizes. Uh, where's my Austin flying meme? Shout out to Render TV, he's awesome. But I'm
he
going
is.
to go to the memes here. Let me share my screen once again. My computer is having a fit. There we go. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. All right. So if you scroll up in the memes here, I thought this was absolutely hilarious because again, the UST and the whole anchor situation really hits home. So it says, Luda crashes 99.9%, billions and millions lost, entire net worth gone. Do Kwon, I'm launching Luna 2.0, crypto investors. Freaking hangover movie. If you guys never watched this movie, it's an amazing movie. It's hilarious. So that's what they're referring to. Now, an honorary mention because I just thought this was absolutely hilarious. Wayne shared it, and it's shut your mouth. So the original message that was deleted. So this was the Titan bot. So if you guys don't know, my arch rival is the Titano bot. Um, so he likes to he or she, whatever the Titano bot is. They like to pick on me sometimes, and I told them to shut their mouth. And someone ever so graciously screenshotted it as soon as I posted it, and then I deleted it. So shout out to Titano Wayne for that. That was pretty funny.
Very cool. Very cool. That bot doesn't like me either, Austin, just in case, just so you know. It doesn't discriminate. It's an equal opportunity, uh, hater. Let's
It's
put
an
it like
equal opportunity hater. I like that.
that. Yeah,
All right.
indeed.
So without further ado, let's get into Titan Focus. So Titan Focus, if for those of you who don't know, Titan Focus is a segment of Titan Talk where we just want to talk about one singular thing that the project is doing this week coming forward, like one singular thing that the team has done this past week to just really progress Titano in the future, whatever it may be, right? Because a lot of the things that we talk about, we try not to overwhelm people with just dumping large amounts of information, and a lot of it can seem pretty broad. So I implemented Titan Focus, where we can just really focus in on one singular thing that we can really bite on when it comes to just information within what we're doing within the space. So David, this week, could you just tell everybody what's one singular thing that the team has accomplished that is moving us one step closer?
Whew, that's a tough one. One single thing. I would say for me, and I know this is probably, ad nauseum for a lot of people, but it's the partnerships. It's this Bet's World partnership. Again, because of what it signifies, right? It signifies an ability for Titano to create a relationship with a project that allows us to defer or take some of the weight off Titano, right? And again, if we look at what happened with Play, if we look at the extra time the lottery's taking, all these things, development's difficult. In-house development, it's software development, and software development has traditionally and probably will always be challenging. And you are often put in a tough situation where it's kind of like, God, it's not where I want it to be. Do I just put it out there, with all of this, as in an unfinished state, and then just deal with it, or do I delay? And Titano, like every other project, goes through that again and again and again and again. So being able to work through a partner whose focus is specifically on that type of use case is not only important, but it sets a precedent that we can take into the future, right? So the thing that I don't think should be overlooked is that essentially, we are getting likely almost everything we would get if we had built this on our own. See, that's the benefit here. We're getting likely everything we would have gotten if we had built it on our own with none of the headache.
Yeah.
So for me,
Yeah, and that's so
you know what I
true.
mean? Yep.
That's so true
It's
with any
amazing.
partnership.
Right. Yep. Indeed. Indeed. So for me, that's the focus. That I don't want it to be overlooked because it again sets a foundation for our being able to do this again and again and again as we go into other areas. Some things we will do in house, like building out the decks and all of its many functions. But other things are critically important. It's just other people might be able to do them faster, better, or even have them already, and then we can just port them over into Titano and we're off to the races. So that for me, this past week is the big and most important thing to focus on.
Awesome. Yeah, and partnerships, I mean that's with anything, right? If we're talking about just being an entrepreneur, being your own person, being your own business guy, right? If you want to invest in real estate and stuff like that. I mean, when it comes to real estate, like you need partners if you want to scale. You can't invest and do everything yourself. You only have so much capital, you only have so much time, you only have so much expertise. You can't be an expert
Right.
at everything. There's
Right.
an actual, if you got a lot of people, sometimes they'll ask me, what books and stuff do I like to read? And one book that really reminds me of how, important partnerships are. If you guys want to read it, check it out. If anybody in here reader is Who Not When or Who Not How. It's a really, really good book where it really kind of makes your mind kind of flip the switch of stop trying to take everything on yourself and just really look
Right.
for, who can you find that expert instead of how. And that's what Titano doing. And that's what everybody that wants to build a successful business does, is you find partnerships that kind of just fills in the gaps of things that you can't personally do, or you just don't have time to do because you can have more expertise to switch to other things. So with that being said, because this kind of plays into, I see one good question here by Marco, and this kind of goes into our last part of Titan Talk is the mini AMA. So the mini AMA is where I take around 5 questions from the live chat and the Discord, Telegrams, things like that. That people are asking live that we probably haven't addressed yet within the actual Titan Talk. And one question that I seen that also kind of relates within the Discord and relates to the live chat here is Marco, and I'm going to highlight both of them. I want to make sure they both get recognized for these questions. So Marco says, can someone explain what is the strategy to get new investors? We are staying on the 80,000 holders for months now already with no new money coming into the project. We are watching our wonderful project ends. Well, it's not ending, but and then the other person here, I'm going to share my screen because this kind of relates to growing that new investor base. So if you go to Earth, okay, shout out to Earth on Discord. They said, can you talk about the Chinese community in the upcoming Titano talk? David keeps talking. Titano is developing a Chinese community. What exactly does this mean? And where are they? Where can we find them? What is the community doing? So could you kind of just talk about a little bit, David, on how we're bringing in new investors and also using the Chinese community to kind of leverage that?
Okay, let me speak to, I think it was Marco, right, who talked about 80,000 holders. We've been stuck on
Yes.
80,000 holders for months. I don't know the exact time of that. I know around when we made the migration from V1 to V2, it coincided, right, with the price falling. So let me sort of give you a different way to look at it, right? Typically, when the price falls, as much as the price has fallen with Titano, the holders abandon the project. So personally speaking, I am ecstatic that we are at 80,000 holders. I am over the freaking moon because it's one of the fundamentals that I look at in terms of determining the health of the project. I invite you to go look and see what happened when the price fell this amount. If you look at any of the ohm forks or any of the tomb forks or any of the node projects, what happened when their prices fell? Their communities abandoned them. We're still at 80,000 holders. It's freaking something to throw parties about, in my opinion. So I just kind of wanted to put that in context, right? It's not just we're only at 80,000. It's we've been stuck at 80,000. Yeah, we've been stuck at 80,000.
Yeah, that's not a bad place to be.
Yeah, it's
It's not a bad place to be.
It's amazing. So I wanted to put that in context, right? So that's number one. Number two, in terms of what are we doing to grow the community? Well, as I said, one of the use case strategies as we've moved into this next phase is to grow the communities. So we've got a couple of strategies around that, right? One is the traditional marketing that we've done, which I can tell you in this particular marketplace, it's ineffective. It's ineffective. The things that we've been doing to grow this project initially are ineffective right now. It doesn't have anything to do with Titano. It has to do with where the market is right now. People aren't checking to look for tokens in those traditional places right now. They're just not. They're worried about, oh my God, my investment's down 92%. Should I get out? Should I keep it? That's where everyone's mind is right now. So we've had to hold off on those because we spent money in those places and we got nothing back. One of the strategies that we've been building over the last couple of months is looking at different markets, right? And seeing if we could get some value out of those markets. And the person on Discord mentioned this Chinese community that I've talked about. It's on Telegram. I'll put a link to the Titano Chinese Telegram group. And our approach was there is a Titan named Paul. He's based in Taiwan, I believe. Paul's a great guy. And Paul has an existing Chinese community. So he's got a community, I think it's around, God, I don't even want to give a number, but it's in the tens of thousands. But it's part of a greater network of Chinese communities that's in the hundreds of thousands, more than 500,000. And so John and I started working with him to see how we could bring that community to Titano. And it's challenging because the Chinese communities use different social platforms, right? They're not on Discord and Telegram, right? They're on WeChat and Weibo and these other platforms. Going into the Chinese community, we don't speak the language, so we've got to be careful about how we market, who we market to, what we spend money on. And Paul's been vital to us in helping us to set up the foundation for building this community. The second thing was, how do we want to build it, right? And our idea is to build it organically, right? We don't want to open up the Telegram group and all of a sudden we've got 50,000 bots in that channel, because it's useless. So Paul has been working with us to build the community up organically, and it's going well. Now, the goal was, right, and one of the rationale, one of the ideas behind this is Asian communities love gambling. So we've got these gambling use cases, including particularly the lottery. So let's build this around this Chinese community build up around the lottery launch. So that's what the idea has been. The challenge is there's been some issues in mainland China relating to crypto, right, and the government. And then we've got this, worldwide issue that's going on. And also back in China, right, they've had a lockdown from COVID, right? They've got supply chain issues. So there, people, again, are worried about their lives rather than crypto at the moment. What we've been trying to do is coordinate these things, right? So we're trying to coordinate the building of the Chinese community with the launch of the lottery and the marketing around both of them. And it's and doing this in this market that's quicksand. And it's been really, really challenging, really challenging. So what we decided to do was, instead of trying to make it timed perfectly, let's just continue building both of them, put them out, and let's see what happens. And we'll just stay dedicated to building out this community. So that's the Chinese community. We're also building a Turkish community. Why are we building a Turkish community? If you look at the fastest growing crypto communities, I think Turkey's number 4 in the world. So we've aimed at that community. And similarly, we have access into that community. So a lot of people, I'm sure I'm going to get, well, hey, what about Brazil? What about this? Bring me someone from Brazil who can walk us safely into that Brazilian community, and we'll start tomorrow. Same thing with any other significant community, we'll go after it. So that's the second strategy. First strategy is using those typical crypto marketing channels that everyone uses. CoinMarket, CoinGecko, Coin this, Coin that, KuCoin, all those different things. We've done that. Second thing is, as I mentioned, building out these communities. The third thing is looking at different and new ways to market. So I've been working with 1 and now 2 Titans on doing things like looking at Facebook ads and doing things, building out our Instagram and putting bots on Instagram and following people as they come through the website. We get a significant amount of people to our website. And so we're right now building that out. I'm hopeful that it can launch. I'm hopeful it can launch next week, where we'll start building out an infrastructure for marketing around that. Now, keep in mind, the challenge with doing these things is, I'll give you an example. We've got an amazing Titan who's in his young 20s. He's on TikTok, and he's got 5 million followers on TikTok. And we are working with him to try to get us into that market, right? It's fantastic, and he's amazing. But it's challenging, right? Because, typically people that watch TikTok videos, his channel isn't directly focused on crypto, but he has done some crypto stuff. So we then have to build out a plan around how to move his audience, which isn't a crypto audience, into crypto. So there's a lot of additional work that needs to be done. He's been great about it. And our plan with him is not just to have him do a couple of series of TikTok videos, but in essence, having to be our ambassador to move us into the space. He's got access to all the top crypto. I think he's top 200 crypto influencers in the entire world. So he's got access to everyone. So our response was, well, can you get us into some of the other TikTok influencers? And he said, absolutely. So we're working with them on that. So these are the strategies that are at the top of my mind. There are more, but these were ones at the top of my mind that we're working on, Austin, to get more people in. One more thing I want to add, and that the other side of that is making it easier for people who may not be crypto enthusiasts to buy, right? So as we know, the mobile app, right, is in development. And as I've said, looking at partnerships, we're also looking and talking with companies right now that might be able to provide a solution to have people come in and buy Titano with their credit card or with their, with fiat currency. We're also looking at that as either a stopgap or as a substitute. If it ends up being faster, better, quicker, something we don't have to develop, we're wide open to that. and discussions are ongoing.
Gotcha. Yeah, the marketing push is in my opinion really really good. And I would like to get in touch with this TikTok influencer that you've been holding out on me, David. Come on now.
Oh, well, I'm his agent, and
You're his
he
agent
only,
now.
yeah, he only talks to certain people, man. So you'll have to deal with me, and you'll have to pay me an upfront fee. But we'll talk about that after Titan Talk. He's
Let's
great,
hear it.
man. He's fantastic. He's such a smart kid, man. I mean, my hat is off to him. And like I said, he reached out to us because he loves the project. So
Yeah.
yeah, my pleasure, man. I'll put you two guys together.
And then just real quick before we get into the second question I got by Adrian here, one thing I forgot to mention, we're actually over 80,000 holders. I totally forgot to, and I need to include this in my quick stats for next week, but we got Titano Play ticket holders as well. And
Ah,
for some people that probably are familiar with my little journey with Titano is when Titano V2 came out with Play, I aped all in. I literally took my entire Titano holdings and I just set it in there for 16 days for a chance to win. Now, obviously, I didn't win,
right,
but obviously on my holding side, it showed that I literally had no Titano. Like I was not a Titano holder
right.
anymore. I was a Titano ticket holder. So, for some people, that could also be the same thing where they just completely aped into Play because my rationale was where the price is right now. I'm not taking money anytime soon. I might as well
Mm,
take a shot at, getting a large amount of money. Now I didn't, but it is what it is. So that's probably what a lot of people are doing as well. So if I were to guess, now obviously you can be both a Titano holder and a Titano Play ticket holder, but I'm looking at right now the Binance Smart Chain scan, and it's 11,149 addresses within
eight.
Titano Play tickets.
Oh,
So I would say give or take about 3 to 4 thousand maybe if you want to go over that. So I'd say more around along the lines of about 85 thousand total holders, or maybe a little bit about 80.
wow.
But we're definitely above the 79,000 that I initially
It's
started this
showing.
Titan Talk off with.
Okay, got it, man. That's good to know. That's good to know. Yeah, and we should all be
Let's
proud
see.
of that because, like I said, in this
Yeah,
market, I mean, take a look at some other projects and see what's happening with them in terms of their holder count. Anyway,
absolutely. So we got Adrian.
hmm.
Adrian says, there we go. David, you were mentioning some articles that were ready to be published. Will they be published and where? Any news about that? Thank you.
Ah, that's a good question. I know that there are a few articles that a few have been published, and I'm sure there are a few more. I know I'm working on one now. What I will say is we will give you an update on when and where they'll be published. Typically, they're published to the online financial magazines like Business Week, Yahoo Finance, Forbes, all the traditional ones. We work with a service that helps us to place these articles, and in some instances, we will do featured articles. Right. So in some cases, these articles show up and they're looked at as, well, that's someone else. That's not really you at Yahoo Finance. That's some person that paid to get that article on. A featured article looks like, and it is because they have to then review everything in the article. It's a Yahoo Finance article. So some of the articles that we're putting out there is more expensive, but some of the articles we're putting out there are featured articles as well. But I'll give you a breakdown on what's happening, and I'll certainly let you know when they're coming out so you guys can go and check them out.
Nice. Now we got another here. We got two questions that I seen from the public chat. One from Crystal and then one from Flash D. So they said, maybe we know where the NFTs stand on the priority list because I know, David, you were talking about how this week,
Right.
we're just shotgunning everything, right?
Yes.
We're releasing the lottery, the bit swirl with the whole algorithmic burns and buybacks and stuff like that. So where
Yes.
does that NFT stand? And then also shout out to Flash D. They asked about the NFTs as well.
Got it. The NFTs, the actual NFTs themselves, in terms of the artwork, are completed. There was a professional artist hired who's got a long resume, so they're beautiful. What is being done is the back end. Someone was asking Austin earlier about if it was possible to give like a preview of the NFTs. I certainly would like to see that happen, and I certainly will put that out there to see if that could happen. Also, we should mention, Austin, that in the Discord now apparently there is a an area where we can give updates and on things that are happening, so people can go there on their own and just see where things are. So if the previews of the NFTs will happen, they will be there as well. So I'm going to push and see if
Nice.
that can happen, as well as trying to get a timeline, a specific timeline on when they'll be ready.
Yeah, that'd be great just to see. I'm excited to see him.
Mm, me too.
Okay, so we got one last question here for the Titan Talk because we're rounding up on 50 minutes now. And this is kind of a more of a question, I guess, to you as far as implementation, and then to me as far as making sure it's still working.
Got
So
it.
we got Tormax the Titan. Shout out to Tormax, one of our great moderators in the
Yes,
Telegrams.
absolutely. Amazing.
They said, Dave, good question. Austin and David, Titano Academy, and then someone else. I am sorry. Oh yeah, Dave Roberts. Shout out to Dave Roberts. They said, how is it going with education videos and materials? So for my side, because I'm the one that's producing these educational short snippet videos of frequently asked
Hmm.
questions, stuff like that. I'm, in the background. I try to. If you guys search my name in the Titano Discord, I send you guys little sneak peeks and stuff all the time of like me editing the video or whatever. But yeah, we're still working on them. I'm building up a giant content base so that way when we do launch, and then David can get into when we're actually launching that if he would like to. But
Hmm.
when that does get implemented, it's going to have not just a few videos and then we add on top of it. It's going to have a large foundation that then we can constantly build and update
Right.
on. So
Right.
for that, yes. I mean, we have. I think if I go because I have them all hidden in my personal YouTube channel right now, so that way if anything ever happens, it's there on the cloud. But I think I have like 20 some videos already made, fully
Mm.
edited, fully done. Um, and yeah, and then I'm obviously working this week on a lot of V2 stuff. That last week I've been working on a lot of V2 stuff. So yeah, I mean it's still
Yes.
definitely in the works. So David, if you want to talk a little bit about on when
Yeah.
Titan
Um,
Academy is actually going to be launched.
yeah. Austin's been amazing. He has, as he mentioned, he's been recording a bunch of videos. In some cases, he's written the script. I've written the script. We've written the script together around every little topic that we get questions about. We're trying our best to quote unquote automate it so that there can be a consistent answer to all the questions that people have around Titano. It's coming
Yeah,
along well. This will then form the foundation of a learn to earn strategy that we're going to use, where people will be paid essentially to learn about Titano, to learn about DeFi, to learn about crypto, to learn about how to manage your investments, right? So all that stuff is under the heading of educating. An educated community is a better community, is a smarter community, is a better Titan. Right now, the graphics are being done, and the final strategy around it is being done. Next week is going to be one heck of a week, because I believe, Austin, we could get this out next week as well. We can start the Titan Academy next week. I had a call about it on, God, I think it was Wednesday of this week, just before I got on a plane. And yeah, so we are really, really close. And again, shout out to you, Austin. You've done a great job. And it's interesting because some of the videos are as short as what, 30 seconds?
oh yeah, some of them are super short because they're just simple answers to answers to
Yeah,
the
it's
questions.
just, yeah, it's one question, and let me answer that for you. So yeah, so that's coming on the way. And yeah, next week's going to be a big week.
That's awesome. So, basically the summary of this whole Titan Talk, everybody that's listening right now and the people that are going to be watching the replay is, next week is going to be a very big week. This week coming, because today's Saturday. So yeah, this week coming is going to be very, very innovative as far as all the stuff that's going to be on offloaded for the Titano community, along with hey, just if you didn't really get something, absolutely please just rewatch this a little bit when we talked about the Bitcoin dominance chart, when we talked about quantitative tightening, and everything as a market as a whole of what this does and how this applies to the whole current Titano price. Because again, we're still an altcoin and we are not immune to anything else in this world, just like how any other altcoin is. We're not immune to Bitcoin as much as we love
Mm.
to be. So thank you, David, for coming on here, kind of just really going in depth on these common questions without making this a 5 hour long AMA
Yeah, man.
or anything
Thank
like
you,
that.
Austin. Thank you for keeping us to time. on this one. And thank you as
Absolutely.
always, man, for your hard work on behalf of all the Titans. It is amazingly appreciated, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. I love doing it. Is there any ending things you want to tell the Titano community before we wrap this up?
You guys are appreciated, and I know this is a tough time. I said in the quote unquote, impromptu AMA I did today, I said the first thing I want everyone to remind themselves of, including me, is before anything else, I'm a Titan. I came here just like you guys did as an investor because I love this project. I've got my friends in this project. I got my family in this project. Over the last couple of weeks, I haven't been at home. Actually, 2 months I haven't been at home, and so my time in the socials has been less. And so people are going, "Hey, where's David? What's going on?" My enthusiasm, my love, my belief, my support for this project has not waned one iota, not one. I am 100% believer in Titano and where we are going. We are going to reach our goals here, team. So I appreciate all of you. I know this is a tough time. You guys, I get more messages now than I've ever gotten because people are nervous. Please sending them. Please keep sending them. The thing I will say is I won't always have the answer you want, and I may not even have an answer, but I'll be honest with you. And so, I'm excited to be here, happy to be with you as always. And thank you guys for your faith and support. Titano to the moon.
Absolutely. You all have a wonderful day. Go have some fun. Stop staring at charts. Stop
Right.
being on the Discord looking at the price bot. Have a great weekend, everybody. I will see you guys tomorrow on
Please.
my personal YouTube channel for Operation Giveback. I think it's week 14 now, so I'll see you then.
Wow.
See you guys later. Have a great day, guys.
Take care. Bye.